And after a renewed factional gun battle on Wednesday in BUNKRUGU district in the northern region, claimed 3 lives and destroyed property. According to Northern Regional Police PRO Ebenezer Tete, he's been given some details on the latest happening.
What we can report is that the renewed clashes that happened yesterday is traceable or is linked to the distancy problem with the struggle between the Japan and the Japan group or families in BUNKRUGU as to who is the rightful or legitimate occupant of the BUNKRUGU king. And as we speak now, 3 persons have been killed, or we can confirm that 3 persons are dead. 35 houses have been torched, and we have also received 2 AK-47 assault rifles. Unfortunately, the persons who were using these assault rifles are on the run. It was based on an intelligence the police received, and they acted quickly, and they received those weapons. So we have intensified our patrols on the ground. What actually happened was that yesterday we were even on the ground because prior to this thing happening, we took the early warning signs and we were patrolling the township. But because of the vastness of the area and the fact that some people were bent on, doing what they did yesterday, whilst we were covering the other section of the BUNKRUGU township, they took advantage and did what they did yesterday. But as we speak now, we have security presence fully on the ground, and we are also following leads. We are picking up intelligence, and that is why we are making some of the inroads that we are making. Definitely, those who are behind this.
We'll have to turn our attention to health, but before we do that, security analyst with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center has also been explaining the implication of the latest attack and the way forward to improving the current situation.
Part of the problem that we are seeing is that Ghana routinely uses curfews as a conflict resolution mechanism.
Doesn't concentrate.
So that both in Yendi and BUNKRUGU,
right,
we've seen instances where the crisis rears its head. There's a dusk to dawn curfew, there's a dawn to after midday curfew or whatever. And I've consistently said that curfews, irrespective of whether they are stopgap measures, will never tackle the challenge. The challenge is to ask ourselves, and I think I said we've spoken about it before, a lot of tough counterfactual questions. What is the conflict good for? Because in BUNKRUGU, somebody is benefiting from it. And I think both the Abudus and Andanis, their recent clash represents the interest and the incentives driving these different groups.
Right.
But even more disturbingly is that in BUNKRUGU, we know that the types of weapons being used in the last couple of days is totally different from the weapons that have been used there much earlier.
Right.
Now, if we tie that in to the 2 seizures from Aflao and Mr. Kofi Boache's wonderful seizure of arms in Kumasi, right, and those arms cache in Kumasi were totally different from any arms cache we've ever arrested in this country.
Right.
It raises critical questions.
Right.
But I think once more we should challenge government once more. We know that there are a couple of new ministers who are heading to Parliament very soon, of which the new Minister for Interior. Yeah, with his experience from the Bureau for Conflict Prevention and Recovery, must now tell the people of Ghana that based on my international exposure and experience, this is what I bring to the table, because this is getting much worse than we ever thought it was going to get.
We turn our attention to health, and 2 more regions, the eastern and western region, have recorded cases of the deadly pneumococcal meningitis infection, bringing to 7 the number of regions with cases so far. The number of deaths have also increased. There's been 1 death in the eastern region where health officials are treating another patient
at the Holy Family Hospital in Ikoko. The deceased is said to be a 16-year-old boy from the Denchambor district. Another person has also died of pneumococcal meningitis in the Upper West region. This follows the confirmation of 3 cases in the Nadolio Kaliu district after 13 samples were tested. The district director of the Ghana Health Service, Florence Ansongmuane, disclosed this during the annual health review meeting of the districts.
Meanwhile, Ghana's foremost medical research laboratory, the Noguchi Memorial Research Institute, says it is yet to establish the actual strain of meningitis currently spreading across the country.
Though health officials have isolated pneumococcal meningitis, the director of the Noguchi Memorial Research Institute, Professor Kwejo Koram, says the strain appears to be imitating the necessarial strain. He, however, tells Joy News the institute can only confirm the actual strain after it has performed some tests on samples collected from affected hospitals in the Bunohafu region where it all started.
We need to get a few things right. I don't know what the current outbreak is caused by. I've seen some reports that it's pneumococcal. I'm not sure what it is. The CSM, the classic cases, epidemics every 10 to 12 years. And the meningitis belt, what is called the meningitis belt, which is, I think is about 7 degrees north or 11 degrees north in the dry belt of the country. Over the past few years, there was a massive development after the 1996 epidemic to develop vaccines against the types of Neisseria. Against the type of Neisseria which causes meningitis. There are various types. There's A, C, W, 135, Y, and a few other smaller ones. The 1996 epidemic and I think the earlier one in 84 were mainly caused by A and C, mostly A and a little bit of C. So the decision was taken to do a cheap vaccine, an effective vaccine for A. The current outbreak in Ghana has been reported to be pneumococcal. We don't know pneumococcal to behave like the Neisseria one. So we need to find out what it is. And Noguchi, we've actually asked that they bring us the samples for us to test and actually confirm whether it's pneumococcal. And if it's pneumococcal, what serotypes there are. And if not, what other bacteria we're dealing with. I understand the samples will come in today or tomorrow, but we are standing by to do that. So that's all we know about meningitis.
And already Joy News is learning that the Health Minister, Alex Segbafia, has requested 500,000 Ghana cedis from government to deal with the rising number of meningitis cases. And this follows a meeting with the Health Committee in Parliament on steps being taken to contain the outbreak, which so far has claimed almost 40 lives across the country.
We had a lot of information from the minister, and I think so far they have done quite a lot of work, and a lot still need to be done, especially in the area of education, trying to sensitize the populace as far as the outbreak is concerned, as what they have to do in terms of making sure people do not get exposed to it. But as you know, as a country, because of our geographical location, every year we are prone to having these outbreaks, especially in the dry season. So this is one of them. The only difference this year is that the strain that is causing the epidemic is quite different from what we have been having previously. So we were, informed by the ministry that they have collaborated with the World Health Organization, and they are supporting them as far as lab facilities are concerned. They are going to go to a facility in the Gambia where they can help with the laboratory detection of the strains which are causing the infection. We also had a lot of interaction as far as the use of vaccinations are concerned. It's also an issue because we are used to the fact that we used to have vaccinations whenever we have the epidemics. The issues we were told are that because the strains causing the infections now are different from the ones we used to have, there's the need to, identify the actual strains, they do what they call serotyping for them to know what is actually causing the infection, and then if they will now also determine whether there's the need to do the vaccination. So the advice from the World Health Organization is that as of now, they have to do a lot of work, so the vaccinations may not be needed now.
Some parts of the national capital, Accra, have been unable to draw water from the Ghana Water Company supply system for the past 2 weeks.
Residents in the affected areas, including Latebiokoshi at Dabraka and Kokomlimle, have as a result had to rely on other sources for potable water. Latif Idris visited some service and reports the shortages causing affected residents a lot of grief and inconvenience.
The supply disruption, which has affected communities in the western part of Accra, comes shortly after the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission announced a 67.2% increase in tariffs in December. At Latebiokoshi, one of the hardest hit areas, I came across some frustrated residents who could not help but lament the impact of the shortage on their lives.
Yeah, it's been really difficult for us because my things are there. I've not been able to wash my things for the past 2 weeks. And as I'm talking to you, like, I'm in my menses and I've not taken my bath since yesterday. I just used pure water to wash myself and change my pad. Like, it's been hell.
For the past week, we've not received any water. And we are expecting maybe the water company to explain even something to us. But as at now, nothing has been said by any of them. So we are coping.
So how do you get water and where do you get it?
Okay, some people have borehole in their houses. They made it so you go and pay for a bucket. A bucket is 30 pesos. So you fetch it and then you can use it to bath. So when you come to town, like at Dabraka, for instance, they have water. We bring our gallons, then we come and fetch, and then we take it to our house for cooking and for drinking.
Since Monday, we've not got water. Water is not flowing in our area. Yeah, it's very difficult. And we don't know anywhere even to go to fetch water.
So how are you coping?
We are just there waiting if the water will flow for us. Some people go to fetch water somewhere, but I don't know where they go for that water.
If you spend like 5 to 10 minutes, they will come right now.
Small-scale businesses which depend on the utility are also struggling to cope. Cyril operates this laundry in the Latebiokoshi area.
For 2 weeks now, we've not been getting water. And then, this is a laundry. We use water. And for some weeks now, we've not get water. We always buy. You understand? Even right now, I sent some people to go and buy me water. I was spending about 70 Ghana cedis. Serious.
You mean 70 Ghana cedis a day?
A day. Meaning the car will take me go, and I'll go and buy the water. I'll pay then I'll pay the driver too. Only 70 Ghana just a day. You understand? Then at the end of the month, I have to pay water bill too.
Until water supply is restored, residents in communities such as this will have to rely on other sources which may not be so safe, with implications for their health.
But we always need to find something to blame. And so the Ghana Water Company has currently blamed the current crisis on the power supply problems confronting the whole country for the current shortages we're experiencing in Western Accra.
The company's head of communications, Stanley Mate, has been explaining.
I take this opportunity to first of all apologize to our consumers living, especially in the western part of Accra. And this is as a result of high voltage that we're experiencing at our treatment plant in Weja. And as a result, we are unable to produce. Now, our equipment are such that when there are power surges, it becomes very difficult for us to power our pumps. So we need stabilized power to enable us to do that. Now we are experiencing very, very high voltages, and if it so happens, it trips off the pumps, and sometimes it blows it off. It's able to, sometimes it blows our control panels and all that. So it's very dangerous when we have to switch on our pumps when we have very high voltages. So this is the situation. For the past 3 days, it's been so, and the day before yesterday, they managed to stabilize it. So we pumped for about 6 hours. It happened again, and they've been working around the clock to make sure that we can stabilize power so that we can produce. So the ECG has actually promised, and they are working on it. I mean, they have requested for reinforcement of engineers so that they can have the situation rectified as early as practicable. So we are relying on them. For us as Ghana Water Company, we have no challenge at all with our equipment. We are only waiting for the right level.
So how often does this really happen?
It seldomly happens, but when it so happens, I mean, we just call on ECG to rectify it, and then we move on. But I think this one has taken a bit of time. I mean, it's been now 48 hours, and I think it's taken a bit of time.
The Speaker of Parliament has described as unlawful a directive by the Ghana Revenue Authority to bank to suspend the implementation of the 1% tax on interest and on investments.
The ranking member on the Finance Committee, Dr. Anthony Akotose, who raised the issue in Parliament on Thursday, said the directive violates the Constitution.
These days, people are talking about Parliament that we are not serious. I think the least we ought to do is to let people know that when Parliament passes an act, it remains an act until the appropriate thing is done. I referred to the GRA publication several times in the newspaper, purporting to suspend an act of Parliament, that because they've changed their mind, they will not implement it. You should read I showed you the Speaker. I think at the least the House should do, they should send notice to whoever does such a thing, that if such acts continue on, we will advise ourselves. Maybe they are not aware, but I cannot believe that an institution in this House will proceed to purport to negate an action that we have taken. Then people say that we are not serious. And all members should be livid. We are only here to pass laws. And until we have passed an Amendment Act, no one, not even the President, can purport to ignore it, suspend it. If you change your mind,
Honorable Member for Utafo, you have made your point. You have made the point.
So I just need your guidance that on this matter, I think the House should take a decision.
And so ruling on the matter, the Speaker, Edward Doajaho, affirmed that though the Finance Minister has written to him to amend the Income Tax Amendment Act, implementation of the law has still got to continue until Parliament reviews it.
If it is true that they have put notice in the newspaper suspending an act which is on the statute books, then it is not proper. But it's also, I also informed the member that just before we went on recess, the ministry came to see me that they wanted to amend that provision. They actually brought the bill, a copy of the bill to my office that intend to amend those portions of the act. I told them that given the workload that we have at that time and we were about to rise, we could not possibly take it at that time, and that when we come back, we will take it. I thought that having come to discuss this matter with me in my office, the proper thing to do is to see me in my office before raising the matter on the floor of the House. But it's a very legitimate point. We don't have the Romans concept of the law falling into disuse, and therefore they don't apply it. Once it's on the statute book, it's on the statute book, and the proper thing to do is to take steps to amend it. And I showed a copy of the draft bill to him that day when he was in my office. But until it is amended, the legal position is that is the law as at now. If they want to declare that they are trying to inform people that they are taking steps to amend it, that's a different matter. That is what they ought to do.
Go speaker there.
Yeah.
Speaker.
Who says Parliament is not powerful? Check that out. Speaker. Over to you, governments. I mean, Parliament is back, so why don't you do it like today?
No, you have to start a process.
Yeah.
But
if Parliament was rising,
Speaker say,
and they wanted to push something, it would have been done.
We'll do it, but Speaker say.
Yeah.
But if you want to get interactive, very easy for you to do so. As always, please make sure you get interactive. On Facebook, we have a page there. Join us on TV, and we'll have a number for our WhatsApp platform. It is 0560 800,000. Mama V is always on the lookout because all of you just keep mentioning her name. Me to mention my name. I don't know why. I think we need to get a lot more female audiences because all of you seem to be males.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And males don't admire males. So,
really?
So, Charlie, ladies.
Are you okay?
Admire me some. All right.
This message says, good morning, Auntie Mama V, and I haven't had Auntie Mama V in a very long while.
You've reached that stage,
please wish, oh no, the kids back in Takra used to call me Auntie Mama V.
Right.
Please wish our sweetest darling, amazing, caring, wonderful, and loving Mommy Cassandra happy birthday today.
Happy birthday.
From Jessica
Mama
and Shara Joy, and the message is, we love her dearly. So, Mommy Cassandra, it's your birthday.
This is awesome.
Your children are wishing you a happy birthday. We're also wishing you a wonderful day today. All right. Tons of messages. This person's asking of my condition. Those who are fighting in the north are disgracing. We the Northerners, they better stop it now.
What did you say was wrong with you?
I was a bit under the weather, and Costa knows he's always checking up on me. So Costa, thank you. This message says, thank God for another blessed Friday morning, and I say Juma Mubarak to all Muslims, especially to all teachers.
Shukran.
Is that the response? Like, that's how you respond?
No, it just means thank you. I'm saying in Arabic.
To all teachers of Young MA Basic School in Sablugu is from Abdullahi Abdul Razak, our friend in Tamale, sending the message.
Desiba, how are you? I hope you're good.
Okay, and this is another reminder again. It has to be given almost every day. Please kindly let them set time displayed on the screen for us. So Fred, check that out. Good morning, AM show crew. Today is the last Friday of the new year. Times are becoming tough, but then January salaries are used to pay debts and expenses incurred in December.
That you have
Derrick from
decided to incur. I was advising you in December before we went for it. Please don't spend all your money.
Yeah, please don't spend. You shouldn't be broken
this year.
With December, all those financial tidbits that Roland gave, we shouldn't be broken in January. This one says, good morning, Mama V. You hardly read my messages. Why? Is the Agricultural Ministry thinking of employment on agriculture extension officers in Ghana? I mean the graduates from the various agricultural colleges, from Zachary in Achiasi. I've read your message now. Apologies if I don't read them.
You've been sending this message for the last...
Let's see. Derrick Inwa.
Okay, the last 2 days. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So that'll be it for the news. Next, we're going to bring you what the stories are on the front and back pages. They've been captured on the news portal, myjoyonline.com. And so we'll try and give you a lot more, as well as from other news portals we have around.
Okay, so this is in relation, just one more message before we go. This is in relation to the talk conversation you have. Says, good morning, Roland and Mama V. The drastic falling standard of education in this country is largely due to indiscipline in our schools and society these days. I think corporal punishment should be reintroduced in our schools. It's from Kik in Aflao. That's another line of the conversation you can have.
I think we'll keep this as a screenshot, and when we get into the moment of the conversation, we'll try and ask Michael Nsoa, who is a former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, as well as Reverend Betty, who will be in the studio to help us dissect some of these very issues.
All right, stay with us. More messages, even on the secrets that spouses keep. I'll reveal all that later on. Stay with us.
We'll be right back.